Blue Bloods, the Tom Selleck and Donnie Wahlberg fronted police procedural show, returned recently after its mid-season hiatus, and fans are now hoping for an uninterrupted run to see out the rest of the 12th season. The show, like any other show, harbors a ton of behind-the-scenes secrets, from casting secrets to little-known facts. Stay with us, as today we're discussing these little tidbits which all fans should know about. First up, the show is edited by a former NYPD detective. There is surely no better way of ensuring a show about cops is as close to real life as it possibly can be than having an actual detective serve as editor of the show in question. Well, that's how the crew over at Blue Bloods rolls. James Nuciforo, the team's in-house law enforcer, normally reviews all scripts before they're sent out to the show's actors. His job revolves around making sure the scripts are as close to real life as possible, and even the little interactions between fellow cops is reviewed by Nuciforo. Nothing is left to chance, and why would it be if he had such an experienced lawman in the ranks? Nuciforo himself commented on his role, saying, "Let's say they get a 56-page script. I'll give them anywhere between 5 to 10 pages of notes on the script, just plugging in dialogue with more jargon." Well, there you go. It's said to be a big hit with the boys in blue, and this is no doubt down to Nuciforo's input. It's the little things, right? Next up, something younger fans of the show might not be aware of. Stay with us. As we all know, Magnum PI is currently airing on CBS with Jay Hernandez in the lead role. However, our very own commissioner, Frank Reagan, played by the owner of the best mustache in the whole of TV, Tom Selleck, originally played the character of Thomas Magnum in the first time the show aired back in the 1980s. Magnum is a former Marine turned investigator who was on our screens for 8 seasons and literally made the career of Selleck, who went on to star in a ton of hit shows and movies, including our favorite crime drama, Blue Bloods. What's your favorite Selleck role? Next up, we're talking Frank's house. We regularly see Frank sitting down to dine at home with his family, where they discuss what's going on in their day-to-day lives. These scenes are filmed in a studio, but the exterior of the house is a real home in Brooklyn, New York. The real-life house is actually owned by a religious organization, the Eparchy of St. Marone, and has been since the late 1970s. Located at 8070 Harborview Terrace, you can easily catch a glimpse of the house if you happen to be in the area, but you cannot enter as it is still a private residence. What makes this location even better is the fact that the house is actually in the same area of Brooklyn where the fictional Reagan family lives. Pretty interesting. Do you know of any TV shows or movies that have been filmed near where you live? Let us know below. News of some brotherly love on the show now. Stay tuned. On the show, Danny Reagan, Frank's son, has a couple of sons of his own. The character played by Donnie Wahlberg, who himself has an uber-famous brother, Mark, is father to Sean and Jack Reagan. Well, believe it or not, the reason the boys look so natural when performing in scenes together is down to the fact that they are brothers in real life. Tony Tarasiano plays Jack, and his younger brother, Andrew Tarasiano, plays Sean. Must be a huge comfort for the boys to have each other on set, and is a great little bit of casting, which can only serve to get the best out of both young actors. The pair's real age difference also mirrors that of the one on the show, and after starting out as child models, they graduated to acting, landing the roles of the Reagan brothers when they were 6 and 8 years old. Andrew, the younger brother, also has a twin sister in real life, although we don't see her on the show. Do any of you guys have a famous sibling? Let us know below. Next up, something you might not know about Danny Reagan, actor Donnie Wahlberg. Younger fans of the show might not know that Donnie and brother Mark were once members of a famous pop group, New Kids on the Block. Although Mark hasn't performed with the group in a long time, Donnie still occasionally dusts off the old vocals, most recently performing just last year at the Battle of Boston. Depending on your age, you might not know who the heck the New Kids are. They're worth checking out for the comedic value alone. And who knows, you might actually enjoy their stuff. Hailing from the Massachusetts city of Dorchester, Donnie and Co. can maybe be best described as the Take That of their era, a band our British viewers will know well. If you were comparing them to a band right now, you might say they're akin to BTS in their early days, although the ARMY might not be best pleased with that comparison. But they did sell over 80 million records in their height, so they were no flash in the pan. Other band members include Jordan and Jonathan Knight, as well as Jody McIntyre and Danny Wood. More mustache news next. Stay where you are. As we mentioned earlier earlier, Tom Selleck's famed mustache is the stuff of legend, and as Magnum, it gave him a super masculine look, which was perfect for the role. But the trademark stash nearly never made it on Blue Bloods, as criminally, the producers wanted him to shave it off. What were they thinking? You're meddling in an institution here, guys. The team thought he was a little too old to be sporting a mustache, no matter how magnificent it is. Thankfully, they came to their senses, and the epic facial hair was given a stay of execution on the 3 Men and a Baby star's face. CBS execs thought the mustache looked good on him. They were correct and decided he should keep it. We're glad too, as we would have refused to watch if Selleck didn't have his stash. The facial hair gives Commissioner Reagan a certain air of authority, and we, for one, love it, if you hadn't guessed. Are you a facial hair fan? Let us know your thoughts below. A Sopranos link next, stay tuned. Showrunners Mitchell Burgess and Robin Green, who are actually husband and wife too, once had a gig on one of the all-time greatest shows in the history of TV, The Sopranos. The James Gandolfini-fronted mobster show employed the pair for a remarkable 44 episodes, after show creator David Chase had previously worked with the couple on other shows. Unfortunately, it wasn't to last, as the creator was unhappy with their pace of writing, which he claims was too slow. And Chase ultimately forced them out by using some pretty underhand tactics, like removing Green from the writer's table and allegedly forcing her to work on her own in the corner. Pretty petty if true, but we all know creative minds can sometimes do odd things. Green also worked as a receptionist for Stan Lee of Marvel fame back in the day. What's your favorite episode of The Sopranos? A little bit about this show's filming location now. As we know, a lot of TV shows are not actually filmed in the locations they're portraying. For example, hit Netflix show Virgin River, which is set in North Carolina, is actually filmed way across the other side of the continent, in Vancouver. The reason for this is that some places are much cheaper to film in due to city and state taxes, and it's this that nearly meant filming Blue Bloods in New York City didn't happen at all. When planning their budget, it seemed as though the rates would mean they wouldn't be able to shoot in the Big Apple, and the Canadian city of Toronto was mooted instead. Fortunately, for the sake of authenticity, network chiefs were able to negotiate a cheaper deal with the state, which meant they were allowed to film on location. Have you been to New York before? What do you think? And finally, we're discussing what the cast and crew do with the food they're seen with on the show. Some fans have pondered what the cast and crew do with the food and the shots once the scenes are over. Usually once an episode, the whole Reagan clan can be seen sitting down to dinner, but Selleck has revealed that these scenes can take a whole day shooting to get right, which he says is miserable. He revealed it's nice to spend time with the entire cast once an episode, but filming an eating scene is miserable. Well, the eating part is. You have to eat the same foods over and over again to get all the shots. We'll probably spend 8 hours shooting this scene. Danny Reagan actor Wahlberg had a differing opinion though. He had a much more pragmatic approach, and when asked what happened to the scoff once the camera stopped rolling, he replied, "It's dinner, right? I gotta eat." We hear you, Downey. We hear you. As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by next time for some more fun and games. Also, if you feel like doing us a solid and sharing today's video, it'd be greatly appreciated. Bye, guys.